She was never meant to be queen. Born into a royal family that never expected her to rule, Queen Elizabeth II's rise to the throne was unexpected, sudden, and filled with pressure. At just 25 years old, she inherited the British crown after the shocking death of her father, King George VI. And from that moment, she carried the weight of an entire empire on her shoulders. For over 70 years, she ruled through wars, scandals, and global transformations, outlasting world leaders, navigating political turmoil, and keeping the monarchy alive in a rapidly changing world. But how did a quiet, duty-bound young princess become one of the most powerful and enduring figures in history? What sacrifices did she make to uphold tradition in a modern world that constantly challenged her? This is the story of Queen Elizabeth II, a woman who faced crisis after crisis, yet remained unshaken, proving that true power isn't just about ruling, it's about enduring. When Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor was born in 1926, no one expected her to become queen. As the daughter of Prince Albert, the Duke of York, she was far from the direct line of succession. Her childhood was one of quiet privilege, shaped by royal tradition, but free from the pressures of ruling. But everything changed in 1936. That year, her uncle, King Edward VIII, abdicated the throne in a scandal that shook Britain. He chose love over duty, marrying Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee, and stepping down as king. In his place, Elizabeth's father became King George VI, a reluctant ruler who never expected to wear the crown. And just like that, young Elizabeth was thrust into a future she never asked for. From that moment on, she was no longer just a princess. She was the heir to the British throne. Her father worked tirelessly to prepare her, knowing that one day she would inherit the weight of the monarchy. But no one expected that day to come so soon. In 1952, at just 25 years old, Elizabeth's world changed forever. While on a royal tour in Kenya, she received the devastating news. Her father had died suddenly. The young princess, still grieving, now had a nation to lead. With little experience and immense pressure, she returned to Britain as Queen Elizabeth II. Her coronation in 1953 marked the beginning of a reign that would become the longest in British history. But ruling a nation wasn't just about wearing a crown. It was about navigating an era of profound change. Over the next 7 decades, she faced wars, political upheavals, royal scandals, and the decline of the British Empire. Through it all, she remained a symbol of stability, duty, and resilience. But behind the carefully maintained image of the monarchy, her rule was tested time and time again. Would she be able to keep the monarchy alive in a world that was rapidly leaving the past behind? As queen, Elizabeth II faced one of the greatest challenges any monarch had ever seen: keeping the British monarchy relevant in a rapidly changing world. The empire her ancestors once ruled was shrinking as country after country gained independence. The days of unquestioned royal authority were over. Now, survival depended on adaptation. Throughout the 20th century, she navigated political turmoil, Cold War tensions, and shifting public opinion. She met with world leaders from Winston Churchill to John F. Kennedy, from Nelson Mandela to Vladimir Putin, becoming a quiet yet powerful force in global diplomacy. But her greatest tests came not from politics, but from within her own family. Scandals rocked the royal household. The troubled marriage and eventual divorce of Prince Charles and Princess Diana became a public spectacle, exposing deep cracks within the monarchy. When Diana tragically died in 1997, the Queen faced intense criticism for her silence, a rare moment where the public questioned her leadership. Yet she endured. Over time, she modernized the monarchy, allowing greater transparency, embracing media, and working to rebuild the public's trust. Through every crisis, she remained steadfast, proving that survival wasn't about power. It was about resilience. But as the world continued to change, could the monarchy keep up? By the 21st century, Queen Elizabeth II had become more than just a monarch. She was a global icon. She had outlasted world wars, political revolutions, and changing public attitudes. But the challenges didn't stop. Now, the very institution she had dedicated her life to was being questioned like never before. The royal family faced growing scrutiny. The younger generation saw the monarchy as outdated, a relic of the past. Scandals continued. Prince Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein led to his public downfall, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's dramatic exit from royal life exposed deep fractures within the family. The media, once controlled by royal protocol, now dictated public perception. For the first time, the Queen's leadership faced open criticism in a world driven by instant news and social media. Yet, Elizabeth remained steady. She had faced crises before, and she knew the key to survival: silence, composure, and endurance. While politicians came and went, while royal scandals flared and faded, she remained the one constant in British life. Even those who questioned the monarchy couldn't deny her influence. As the years passed and her health declined, speculation grew. What would happen when she was gone? Could the monarchy survive without her? The institution she had upheld for over 70 years now faced its biggest test: a future without Queen Elizabeth II. In her final years, Queen Elizabeth II remained as devoted as ever to her duty. Despite her advancing age, she continued to attend public engagements, meet with world leaders, and uphold the traditions of the monarchy. Even in moments of personal loss, she remained unshaken. When her husband, Prince Philip, passed away in 2021, she sat alone at his funeral, a powerful image of duty over personal grief. But time was catching up. Her health became a growing concern, and the question of succession loomed. As Britain faced economic challenges, political instability, and a changing global landscape, the monarchy's future became uncertain. Would the institution she had protected for decades endure without her? Then, on September 8, 2022, the news came. Queen Elizabeth II had passed away at the age of 96. Her reign had spanned generations, wars, and cultural revolutions, and now Britain faced a reality it hadn't seen in over 70 years, a world without its queen. With Queen Elizabeth II's passing, an era ended. For over 70 years, she had been Britain's anchor, a symbol of stability through wars, scandals, and global transformations. Now, the monarchy stood at a crossroads. Would it continue to hold relevance in a modern world, or would her death mark the beginning of its decline? Her eldest son, King Charles III, immediately ascended the throne. But despite his lifelong preparation, his reign faced skepticism. Public support for the monarchy had weakened, and younger generations questioned its place in society. Could Charles command the same respect and devotion as his mother? As Britain mourned, the world watched. Her funeral was one of the most viewed events in history, a testament to her lasting impact. Even those who doubted the monarchy couldn't ignore the weight of her legacy. She had ruled longer than any monarch in British history, and now the question remained: could the institution survive without her? As Britain moved forward, the absence of Queen Elizabeth II was deeply felt. She had been more than a ruler. She was a constant, a living connection to history. Now, the monarchy faced its biggest challenge, proving it could exist without her. King Charles III took the throne, but his leadership was met with uncertainty. Could he modernize the monarchy while preserving its traditions? Would the people accept him as they had his mother? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain: Queen Elizabeth II's reign had left an unshakable mark on history. Whether the monarchy thrived or faded, her legacy would never be forgotten.